John Beaudin, Rock History Music, and some bad news. I was just getting out of an interview with Bruce Blackman of Starbuck, and all of a sudden, my mother-in-law gets a hold of me. She says, I think Tina Turner has passed away. So really sad news. 83 years old, dubbed the Queen of Rock and Roll, a woman who has given us so much and had many lives in music. Turbulent past with Ike, her ex-husband. So many things she went through. Actress. But when you talk about, let me just get some of your comments on here. So let me just get onto the channel so I can get some of your comments. We're going to talk about, she's had a lot of health issues in the last little while. A lot of things that she's been dealing with. But hold on, I've got an interview, not an interview, a story here from the BBC. Yes, it says she was 83. She had suffered a number of health issues in recent years, cancer, stroke, kidney failure. Rose to fame in the 60s, Ike and Tina Turner. The 80s revival was something that I don't think anyone would have predicted. Not anything to do with her. The fact that I remember we all got free copies in radio. I'd just gotten into radio of Private Dancer. I remember it was Whitney Houston, Madonna's Like a Virgin, the second album, and Tina Turner. Those are the albums I can remember getting free because the record company was really pushing them. They believed in the music, and all of a sudden, all the hits were there. So she passed away, and the world's in shock. I mean, 8 Grammys, Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. No one sounded like Tina Turner. No one could perform at the level of Tina Turner. Watching her on TV growing up in the 70s, going, what is this? Like, what is this? No one sounded like that. Sorry, I forgot my mic upstairs. I was in such a hurry too. So I hope the sound quality is okay. We'll get to more of the story in a second. Brian says, shocked. Salvador, rest in peace. Trance 9. Not a fan personally, but another icon down. Again, you either like something or you don't. Nothing wrong with that. Ronnie Parker, hello, John. Rest in peace. She was one in $1 million. She had those $1 million back in the day. It's about effing music. So many musical giants we're losing this year. Tina was a human dynamo. Well said. Very true. Oscar Stern. I even got her bass 6. James Bashir's Damn Bless Her Heart. K. Mariam MMM. Rest in peace, Tina Turner. John Oxis. Rest in peace, Tina. Got her greatest hits. I mean, really. To this day, when What's Love Got to Do with It comes on, and Danger, the Thunderdome song, the Mad Max song, and she was in that. When that comes on, it's just one of those, I have to listen to it. You know what I mean? Some people say when they're watching TV, when Seinfeld comes on, they will never change it. When Tina Turner comes on, it's just one of those artists that, talk about deserving to be into Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Take a look at the discography. In the 70s, Baby Get It On, Whole Lot of Love, Acid Queen, of course, from the album Acid Queen. She did Sometimes When We Touch. But in the 80s, from Private Dancer had, hold on, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 singles. That's insane. It happened in the 80s. Artists would have that. Springsteen had multiple singles from Born in the USA. Michael Jackson, of course, was well known for having many singles off albums. Let's Stay Together was the first single off Private Dancer. That album was a phenomenon, as we've mentioned before. Made people stop in their tracks. Made people go, why did we forget about this artist? The true fans never forget, as they say. But when you get on the charts again, she came in with Let's Stay Together at number 26 in the US. In the UK, it reached number 6. What's Love Got to Do with It? Number 1 in Australia. In the US, number 12 in Belgium, 20 rather. Germany reached number 7, and in the UK, number 3. I'll never forget that song. The production in that album was crazy. Better Be Good to Me, another 5 hit. Private Dancer, remember the video? Number 7. Show Some Respect was another hit, number 37. So from Private Dancer, she had, in the US, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 hit singles from that. Mad Max, of course, came after that. We Don't Need Another Hero, Thunderdome, man. And I equated that to What's Love Got to Do with It. It was to me, and it was in a similar sort of lane. Let me get some of your comments. No Name, It's Only Love with Bryan Adams. Oh yeah, what a rocker that was, huh? Yeah. Catherine S. She was a real fighter who did not give up. Catherine, very well said. Whenever you're a victim of domestic abuse, where it can knock you down, some people feel that or have it or experience it when they're young. Sometimes, even if you have a good childhood, it happens to you when you're older. It always knocks you off your feet. And the thing is, she was a fighter, you know, a stage presence. Every time I'd see a video, I never saw her in concert. Never. Let's look at some other. I'll get to your comments in a second. Break Every Rule. One of the Living, number 15. Typical Male, number 2. Two People, number 30. What You Get Is What You See, a 13 hit. And then it slowed down for a while. And she released Tina Live in Europe in 1988. The Best, 1989, which, by the way, was written by Holly Knight, who we had on our channel. Holly had said, and maybe not the day to say it, but Holly had said that Tina would not correct people when they would ask her about The Best, that she didn't write it. And she says that's the only thing. And Holly also pointed out, and she might have written this in her book, that a lot of artists do that. She said, you know, that some of these big hits were written by other people. Foreign Affair, by the way, had The Best at number 15, and Steamy Windows, which reached number 39. Let me get to some of your comments. James Bashir of Saturday Night Live. Frank, I'm reading these backwards, by the way. Frank Barbero, saw her in 2009, amazing show. Lori, her Bond movie 007 song, GoldenEye. Love that one too. Thank you. Tony Walker. I saw her once in concert. What a show. I don't think you could go to a Tina Turner concert and be disappointed, right? James Bashir, I remember Rod Stewart on the season opener of Tina doing Hot Legs. Oh, wow. Brian Borrow, 83 is the average age these days. Really? I was just, when I was mentioning in the top of the show that I was just getting on an interview with Moonlight Feels Right. I Gotta Know, these two hits from Starbuck. And I said, how come you're still around? Why are you here? And I said, don't take it personally, but why is Mr. Moonlight Feels Right still here? And a lot of people are dead. What is it that you did right? And he said, well, I didn't do those things. And he points out, sometimes when you do those things, you die anyway. It's genetics. And Tina, as we've mentioned off the top with this BBC, let me just get rid of this here. I'm juggling screens. Had suffered a lot of health issues in the last little while. Cancer, stroke, kidney failure. So a lot of things going on there, right? Let me get some of your comments right now. I'm going to the bottom. Oh, Johan, thank you for your super chat. Appreciate that. Lord Jeffrey of Fortesque Smite. Welch. Oh my God. Thought she'd go on forever. That's another thing. And we say this every time we do an obituary. And lately, if you might have noticed, we've been doing a lot. There is something sort of weird to the brain. Human beings have a lot of problems with death. It's hard to grapple death and going, well, like, where are they? They were here yesterday. I mean, I'm dumbing it down, but when you have an artist that you've seen and you love and you cherish and there's something larger than life about them, yeah, they go to the bathroom just like us. And they're really just like us. I make a living out of interviewing rock stars. That's what we do on this channel. And then when you talk to them for about an hour, sometimes two, you realize, it's just like having a conversation with someone. They just have a really cool job. But there is that thing about someone who's larger than life like that, where they're on stage, they're literally higher than you, whether they're taller than you or not. They're up on stage, they're on TV, and then all of a sudden they're dead. So that tricks the mind a little bit of going, and you had said it best when you said, I thought she'd go on forever. Of course. Dr. Insomnia, her discography goes deeper than you realize. More than just Proud Mary and Private Dancer, of course. Jane Weldon, rest in peace, Tina. one of the greats. Raymond Kaiser, rest in peace, Tina. John Potton, just talking to him this morning. Beautiful lady and singer, rest in peace. Phil Stevenson says, so sad to hear that about Tina's passing. Loved her music so much. Phil from Manchester, UK. My ex-in-laws, my first wife's parents, may they rest in peace also, are from Manchester. Good work in town. Gary True. That said, Tina was to me a fantastic vocalist and dancer. I went to see Tommy in the mid-70s. Her part was cool. I remember that, of course. And Anne Margaret and Beans. She just did an interview recently, Anne Margaret, and talked about that. Crazy Ferret. She did so well to come back so strongly after what Ike put her through. Her ex-husband, Ike Turner, spousal abuse on a high level. And you can't keep a good person down. Sometimes it's not how you fall down, it's how you get up. Yeah, I got a lot of mother statements, but that's true. You know, she still had a purpose. Every artist I talk to when I do interviews, and every 2-3 days I do a new interview. And they're all classic rockers. I'm 63. They all have about 10 years at least on me. And they're all really appreciative to still be doing what they're doing. Some of them can't physically do it anymore. There are pictures I saw of Tina where she didn't look well. But again, she had, gone through cancer, a stroke, kidney failure, rose to fame in the 60s with Ike and Tina Turner. Loved her version of Proud Mary. You know, when you see her on there with the backup, you've all seen that clip, and there's multiple clips of the same song of her doing it. You're going, where does she get the energy? Da, 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 da. You're going, whoa! You know what I mean? It's like when people saw Vanilla Fudge for the first time. You Keep Me Hanging On. They see that and they go, what? That's different. The Beatles are the perfect example of that. When people saw them, they go, what is that? Tina Turner had those moments for a lot of people. A lot of performers became singers because of Tina Turner. I'm overstating the obvious, but come on. As far as performers, I always say that Iggy Pop, and it's connected because Iggy Pop also went on there and gave like 3,000% when he was on. Iggy Pop's the best performer I ever saw. I'm sure if I would have seen Tina Turner, I would probably say that. And the queen of rock and roll. I mean, really, they dubbed her the queen of rock and roll. What higher compliment can you possibly have for someone, right? If I missed some of your comments, I'm sorry. We've got a lot of them coming in. Jim Laughlin, very sad to hear. We'll always remember her role of the Acid Queen in Tommy. Yes. Derek Vaughn. She lived a long, wonderful life. What an artist. Rest in peace. Thank you. Tora Porco. Hi, my friend. The most energetic on stage female performer ever. I think so. Can you imagine how many calories she was burning on there? You know, when she was doing River Deep Mountain High or Proud Mary especially, of going, wow. Even when she was doing the slow stuff, she was in the zone. Like the cliche, she put it all out there, she left it on stage. All those little mother statements, I got a lot of those. So there you go. More comments. I don't know how to say your username. Rest in peace. Dear Tina, rock and roll party in heaven. Yeah. Eric D, rest in peace. Tina Turner, you helped shape the whole generation of music. So true. Again, those defining moments long before Private Dancer and What's Love Got to Do with It. Like I said, there are moments in rock and roll history that are etched in our brains, and Proud Mary is one of those. Doing it live and saying she just blew up 1,000 calories by doing that. Because I'm 63 and I'm always trying to keep my weight in check, and I'm always looking at my watch, and I'm sure some of you do too, going, okay, I'm going to go for I could never do what she's. There was never a time, and I used to be quite athletic, that I could ever do. I can't dance, but I could never exert myself on the level of Tina Turner and Proud Mary. Never. And it's never going to happen now. Bump Acker. River Deep Mountain High is epic. One of the best. Very true. Fender Stratocaster. Telecaster. Very sad and a dark day in music. Well said. I can recall the We Don't Need Another Hero and her collaboration with Bryan Adams, It's Only Love. Man, that was a rocket song. That's gritty. That's like hair in the drink kind of raunchy, great song. And Bryan could do those, and of course Tina was well-versed in that. Modern Retro Radio. For those who don't know, her 1989 album Foreign Affair is her masterpiece, I promise you. Barbara Jensen, gone way too soon. She was healthy, vibrant, and alive. Why? Well, she wasn't like we'd mentioned. She had dealt with cancer, a stroke, and kidney failure. That's a lot to deal with for anyone. She divorced Ike, by the way, in 1978, and they had a successful career together, but a terrible, uh, 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 a terrible relationship. Just I had a brain fart there. Sorry. Um, some more comments. Jim Konopetsky saw her live in Winnipeg at her peak. What a show. I'm sad that she's gone. Thank you. Pressy, nice to have you back. Her David Letterman appearance with the Tina Turner tuna salad maker is classic. Tony Walker, sorry, Tony. Tearing Us Apart with Clapton. Modern Metro Radio. For those who don't know, or I already read that. By the way, anybody meet her? Anybody on here have a chance to meet Tina Turner? She always seems so elegant, right? There's someone that told me once, speaking of Iggy Pop, it's an interesting thing, that Iggy Pop's alter ego was very different. Iggy Pop off stage was very different. And I've seen many things with Tina Turner where she seemed just so elegant and very nice to talk to. And then she'd get on stage and turn into a crazy person. But in all the right ways, like just crazy, just letting it all out. And that's infectious. People would experience that, right? And her hits were, especially at the 80s, and it was a different Tina Turner in the 80s, but she still poured it out on stage. It was the same Tina Turner, that she was more pop-oriented, but great songs, tunes that stood the test of time. Let me just get back to that here with her discography. I'm going to move my ugly mug up there. Okay, Wildest Dreams, we're going to continue. Golden Eye, of course. What else are hits? Missing You. And then a re-release of What's Love Got to Do With It in 2020. A lot of hits, man. A lot of hits. And then it started kind of waning a little bit after that. But to me, and because I'm a child of the 70s but got into radio in the 80s, her Private Dancer album will always be, and getting a free copy of it from the record label was nice because we didn't make a lot of money in the beginning in radio. Let's Stay Together, number 26 hit. What's Love Got to Do With It? Of course, number 1. Better Be Good to Me, number 5. Private Dancer reached number 7. Show Some Respect, number 37. Then Mad Max, of course, We Don't Need Another Hero. And One of the Living. More hits from Break Every Rule. Typical Male. Two People. What You Get Is What You See. Then, of course, the live album came out. Foreign Affair with Simply the Best, simply called The Best, was a number 15 hit. Crazy day in music history. Crazy day. And I've warned you, and you know this, I'm overstating the obvious again. There is that unfortunate, not so sweet spot for age. Someone had mentioned that 83 is the average age. People are living longer right now, but rock and rollers live a rock and roll lifestyle sometimes, or they've had I used to look at the Ike Turner stage with Tina Turner and think, does that affect your longevity going through that, or does that make you stronger? Makes you stronger in some ways, of course, because look what she did after her and Ike broke up. She came back stronger and became the queen of rock and roll. I mean, what does it take to be dubbed the queen of rock and roll? You got to earn it. I always say you got to do the work to get into the room. People say, well, I was lucky, and I always tell artists, nah, I don't know if you were so lucky, because you did a lot of work, especially if they're really good at their craft. And most of the people we talk to on this channel are really good at their jobs. They've kind of done the work, right? Get some comments. John says, wow, sad to hear. Such a great classic. River Deep, Mountain High, Proud Mary. What a performer. We all sang And okay, Live Aid with Mick Jagger. Modern Retro Radio, One of the Living, was from Mad Max, not Break Every Rule. Thank you. There's Alton Faircloth. I'm seriously saddened for the loss of a rock icon. Michael Nolan. She survived. Ike bested John Fogerty. That's true. Proud Mary. Thrived in Hollywood and also a masterpiece with Bryan Adams. Rest in peace. That again, getting back to the rocker with Bryan Adams. What a tune! You know, is there ever a time where you're in your car and that song comes on? But that, along with like The Best or What's Love Got to Do with It, Private Dancer. Anytime those songs come on, don't you find yourself turning it up? Part of your past, part of your musical patchwork. I told you I've got mother statements. I got them all in my holster. Got mother statements galore. Surf Boy. I used to think 50 was old, and I'm 60. Well, in every conversation I have with every artist, I'll quote Mick Jagger, thinking he thought the Rolling Stones would last just a few years. He couldn't see. And I asked you this: when you're in your 20s, were you thinking about being 30? No, you're too busy being in your 20s. They say, youth is wasted on the younger. There's so many different versions of that, but you're in the zone when you're in your 20s, right? So that's the way it goes. I'm sure Tina Turner wouldn't have imagined she had such a long career. How can you think that far ahead? You're one album at a time. You know, you spend your whole life working and getting ready for that first album, you know, in music, and then you got 6 months to record the second one, which is maybe why there's a lot of sophomore jinxes out there, but I don't know. Get some comments. John says, I don't know what that means. Chad Carrier. Do I like Korean Square Revival? Big fan, yes. Randy Young, I forgot Tonight with David Bowie, such a great song. Just reading some of your, I have to sort of cherry pick through here because there's always a few crazy comments. Alton, I'm seriously saddened by the loss of a rock icon. She's an excellent artist who will be missed. I always liked her interviews too. You know, we used to, I've got an interview in our little tickle trunk, which is not ours, it's from Rolling Stone magazine. I think it's Rolling Stone, where she's just like, I'm just thinking, I just want to like bathe in her, you know, her aura, just delightful, very, very uplifting, you know? And Holly Knight, who we interviewed a few years ago, who wrote The Best and a few other songs for her, as well as Pat Benatar, The Heart. She wrote a lot of hits for people. She just released her autobiography. We're going to get her on the show pretty soon. Holly Knight said, other than the fact that sometimes Tina would not correct people that she didn't write The Best, she was a really easy person to work with for the most part, you know, and I can imagine that. But to have, you know, there's more one-hit wonders than anything else in the world. To have a hit says so much. One hit, that's amazing. People go, oh, you're a one-hit wonder. You know how many people who never even came close to being one-hit wonders who are musicians? But to have a repertoire of albums like this, let me just go through the albums. I'm just going to go through the chart positions of the albums for Tina Turner. For, hold on. Private Dancer was her first solo album that charted in the US. It made number 3 all around. This is the different countries. Doesn't matter what country it is. Number 3, number 1, number 7, 1, 1, 14, 2, 3, 3, and 2. That's Private Dancer. That's crazy. Then Break Every Rule across the board in different countries. Doesn't matter what the countries were. 4, 7, 11, 2, 3, 16, 1, 2, 1, 2. Then Foreign Affair, which someone had pointed out is her crowning achievement to a lot of diehard fans. Number 31, 83, 15, 1, 12, 11, 1, 6, 1, 1. Like quadruple platinum in some countries. It's just crazy. Wildest Dreams. Number 2, 29, 14, 2, 1, 4, 1, 4. 24/7. Number 1 in some countries. Crazy when you look at it. How much success that she had. And again, I'd be remiss if I didn't point out that she did have health issues, cancer, a stroke, and kidney failure And in some pictures, did not, I mean, she's getting older. She's allowed to look old. I'm not talking about looking older. She didn't look well. Ray Ellis, hey Ray, my friend, how are you? Tina's 2009 50th anniversary concert film is the idea of a perfect show. And Ray would know, Ray's toured with a lot of great performers. Amazing performer, but she also knew how to market herself with class. Yes. James Bashir, hey James, thank you, Tina, for being part of our yesterdays. Well said, really nice. John Radford, she was a great singer, and that album from the 80s, she older woman, beautiful lovers, she will always be missed. Metal Reaper, the song Private Dancer was written by Mark Knopfler. Daniel Lurkerdal, Heaven sent down an angel to bring Tina Turner home. Flying colors, may she rest in peace. That's nice. Dianand, rest in peace, and thanks for being for your music. Love you, Tina. Daniel says, there is no one like Tina Turner. Well said. She always put the show and sang everyone's asses off without pitch correction. Yes, well said. Thank you for saying that. No special till like she stayed relevant for all of her career. Pressy, the Letterman channel just put up the Tina Turner clip. Oh, thank you. Laura Solanka, The Who cast her perfectly as the Gypsy Queen. Yes. Denise C, she was a strong person and did very well for herself in spite of the early years with Ike Turner. Rest in peace, Mrs. Turner. Miss Turner, Surf Boy, my fave is Deep, River Deep Mountain High, of course. Electric Sailor, I've noticed myself that people don't age the way they used to. There was a time when 30 years old was old men. Now we think 30 years old is a kid. That's true. Well, we would at a lot of our age. Now I know because this is an obituary tribute video that a lot of the folks that are on here, and please subscribe if you like, because most of what we do is breaking news, but we do a lot of tributes because we're doing a lot more. But we also interview a ton of classic rock stars. If you're just coming on for the first time, not that I want to plug us during this time, but I'd be remiss if I didn't. Please subscribe to our channel, because what we do is cover classic rock, and that's what rock history music is all about. I'm in my living room because my studio is being occupied right now. So wanted to report on this because it's such a sad thing. A lot of comments coming in. Chad, she sure will be a legend. Yep. Monica Garcia, rest in peace, Tina. We will miss you dearly. Diane says, my condolences to her family. Yes, thank you for that. Oh yeah, Lone Wolf, she even rocked Led Zeppelin's Whole Lot of Love. I mean, she was a type of singer when I never really thought of this till now, till you said that. She was one of those people that could have sang with Led Zeppelin, right? She could have sang all those Led Zeppelin songs and done them proud and moved a lot faster than even Robert Plant could, but that they're just too, not that they're apples and oranges, because they were both real great, gritty rockers, right? I'm glad we still have Robert Plant and Brown. One Take Adventures with Joel and Deb. She was simply the best. And there'll be a lot of headlines like that. It's just too easy of a headline, but it's appropriate, right? John Eichmann says, I'm a teacher and saw the announcement come over during my middle school class last period of the day. Some of the kids were shocked and sad. Oh, thanks for sharing this. Many of them 13 and 14. Shows her impact. John, thank you for sharing that. Think about that for a second. 13, 14 years old. They knew who she was. That's a good point. That, like, no matter what age group you are, you're going to know who Tina Turner is. I'm surprised sometimes, some people who play with my son's a drummer, Chase, and they play at a pretty high level because Chase is a really, really good drummer. But I'll ask them, they'll say, who are you interviewing tomorrow? And I'll name some names. Sometimes I have 3 interviews in a day. It's rare, but sometimes I do. And I'll name 3 people, and they're classic rockers. And they'll go, I don't know who that is. And then I'll play them a song. And I'll say, trust me, through osmosis, the speakers, background, whatever, you've heard these songs. And they always say, oh, yeah, I know that song, right? But Tina Turner, I mean, really. More comments. If I missed your comment, just repost it if you don't mind if I haven't read it. Farrell McNulty, I saw the thumbnail. Tina just can't be dead. I know. Someone else had said that earlier on. Art says school kids still hear the music that their parents listen to. Very true. Good point. Diane Ann, thank you so much, Tina, for making steamy windows. Yeah. Randy Collins, another link in our youth has passed. Randy, well put. A beautiful human being. Have a safe trip home, Tina, and thank you for the fantastic music through the years. Randy Collins, thank you. That's very well put. Pressy, there is no 27 club. It's the 55 club. Stars die at 55 overwhelmingly. Ernesto, nice to have you on here. Hope she's remembered not just as an artist, but a woman who paved the way for other women to rock. Art Vandelay. Must be a sign. Oh, you've been on here before, Art. I remember now. She inspired the name of the football player, Keena Turner. Chad Carrier. Yeah, she's been around for an awful long time. She, again, I'll mention it, that the BBC reported that she had cancer, suffered a stroke, and kidney failure. So she went through some stuff, and it's hard to be 83 and not have anything. My mother's 87 and she's in the hospital. It's hard for me to imagine that Tina Turner is just, oh my God, she's 4 years younger than my mom. And my mom's in the hospital right now. She's okay, but she had an operation yesterday. And being 87 and having an operation, we started thinking, well, you don't want to be under the knife when you're in your 80s. It's just dangerous. But she survived, but 83, anything can happen. My in-laws were here last night, Shannon's parents, and my father-in-law's 80 and my mother-in-law's, I think, 78, if I'm correct. And they even said yesterday that, at our age, all hell can break loose anytime, right? A lot of your parents might be, that age. We've lost, I bet you almost everyone that's listening has lost people much younger than 83. The White Witch, internet. I don't know. I can't read what you wrote. I don't know that language. I don't know. I can't pronounce your username. The media always links the abuse Mike and Tina to her music. Tina had that jam, Proud Mary. Tina was a force of nature. Modern retro radio. The stroke happened in 2012, but great efforts were made to keep private. I had no idea about the cancer or kidney issues. BBC reported that, so I pretty much trust the BBC. JT Shark. Turner was rock and roll survivor. Ike was protective by some insiders because he wrote songs for some people, and that made money. Art Vandelay said, Tina Turner, great contributions, R&B scene in the 60s and 70s. Thank you, Tina, for your contributions. Yeah. We're going to wrap it up, but if you're coming on and you're watching this and it's not live, we're live now, of course, but we'd like for you to, if you met her, saw her in concert, favorite songs, really write anything you want. But a huge, huge loss in music. I remember when Eddie Van Halen passed away, we came on and I'd never seen so much comments in my life because, well, Eddie was younger. And being 83 years old, even though people are in shock, they're not completely shocked because when you're in your 80s, as we mentioned a while ago, all hell can break loose at any time. You never really know what could happen. Hold on, I've just got to press a button here. Got to press a button to enable something that I forgot to do before I came on. There we go. Thank you. Anyway, when we have that window of opportunity here, unfortunately, with a lot of people, that it's just going to get worse and worse. I hate to say this out loud, but in 20 years, we won't have a Beatle. I mean, there's a very good chance, right? So there you have it. Anyway, guys, I'm going to take off. May she rest in peace. She gave us a lot. We talked about her career an awful lot in this piece. Tina Turner is the only one. Take good care of yourself. Subscribe to our channel, like our videos, share them. Appreciate it, man. Take care of yourself. Love you guys.